Hello students, we come to the last topic in transform and conquer, heaps and heap sort. So far in transform and conquer we saw the first variation of transform and conquer, which was the instant simplification variety. Apart from this two, we had two more variations in transform and conquer. They are representational change and problem reduction. Problem reduction, we had discussed an example of computing the LCM. Now we look into the second variation called as the representational change, where the input instance is uh, stored in a different representation, okay, so that it is convenient to obtain the solution. So under this variation we discuss transform and conquer. So in this section what we are going to discuss is the concept of a data structure called as a heap, variations of it called the max heap and min heap, and the construction procedures, how to construct, given a set of keys or elements, how do we construct a heap out of them. And then once we have understood the notion of a heap heap, we then use this data structure in sorting, for which we outline the heap sort algorithm. So coming to the definition of the heap, as though the English language just suggests that it's just a pile of items, it is actually not the case. Rather, it's a clever, partially ordered data structure. Okay, we will try to understand what we mean by a partially ordered data structure. There is some kind of an ordering with regard to the elements stored into this data structure. That's why we call it partially ordered data structure. And it is a clever data structure that you can use it to implement or solve several problems. One of the implementations of heap is in implementing priority queues. They are suitable for implementing priority queues. Okay, you already know that in a priority queue, element with highest priority will be considered for deletion, um, or you could perform a find operation which will give you the element having the highest priority and such. However, while adding a new item, there is no such priority assigned. Okay, you can insert any element into the priority queue, but always for deletion, it is possible only for the element with the highest priority. So these heap data structures can be used to implement such priority queues. Let's first understand the notion of a heap. So the heap can be defined as a binary tree with keys assigned to its nodes, one key per node provided the following two conditions are met. Okay, so the first thing that you have to understand is a heap is a binary tree, and in addition to the binary tree, okay, it has to satisfy two more properties. But prior to that, it is a binary tree, which means that any node in the tree can have at most two children. What are the two properties that need to be satisfied by a heap? The first one is called as the shape property. So the binary tree is an essentially complete binary tree. You have already studied this when you are studying data structures by the name something called as an almost complete binary tree. So both the terminologies, essentially complete binary tree or almost complete binary tree, are one and the same. So when do we say that a binary tree is essentially complete? It is a binary tree in which all its levels are full except possibly the last level. Okay, so if you look at a binary tree, uh, if there are n levels and the uh, first n minus 1 levels are completely filled, except for the last level if there are some nodes missing, and also when some nodes are missing, these nodes should happen to be the rightmost leaves. Okay, If this property is satisfied, then we can call it a heap, also with the condition that it satisfies the second property. So the second property says that there should be parental dominance or the heap property. So the first definition is true for a almost complete binary tree or a essentially complete binary tree. If a essentially complete binary tree also satisfies this condition of parental dominance, then we call such a almost complete binary tree or a essential complete binary tree as a heap. So what do we mean by this parental dominance? In parental dominance, if the heap is such that every key is greater than or equal to the key stored in the children. Okay, if this property is satisfied, such heaps are called as max heaps. On the other hand, if the first property is satisfied, that of being an essentially complete binary tree, and there is child dominance property that is satisfied, means every child node in the heap is larger than its parent, then such a heap is called as a min heap. Okay, but for our examples and discussion for heap sort, we will be using the concept of max heaps, and hence we will be focusing on max heaps only. Okay, so max heap implement parental dominance, and the key values, if you observe, okay, we will be shortly showing you a few examples. The key values in a heap are ordered top to down, okay, because it has to satisfy parent child dominance. Since the parent is larger and the child is smaller, so the values in the heap are ordered top down. If you take any particular node in the heap and if you compare it with any descendant of it, including its child, then it will be always greater than its descendants. And similarly, if we compare any node with its ancestors, the node will be smaller than any of its ancestors. However, you should note that there is no left to right order in key values. Okay, that's why in the initial slides we said that it is a partially ordered collection. Okay, there is no left to right order. We have seen left to right ordering in the previous data structure called the binary search tree and the AVL trees. Okay, but in case of max heaps, there is no left to right order. The only property that it has to satisfy is every parent node should be greater than its child nodes. Okay, so then such a data structure is called as a max heap, or in other words, max heap is an almost complete binary tree with the parental dominance property being satisfied. So let's look at few examples. So now, as you see in this, we first look whether this graph satisfies the shape property. So in this case, we have three levels. In the first two levels, all the nodes are full. In the last level, only one node is missing, and that node also happens to be the rightmost node. And hence, this example is that of a heap. Okay. Next, let's look at another binary tree. Okay. So in this case, you see that this is a binary tree. Even the parental dominance is also satisfied. Every node is greater than its child node. However, we can't call this a heap because here the first property is violated, the shape property. So this is not a almost or a essentially complete binary tree. In an essentially complete binary tree, only the rightmost leaves in the last level can be missing. However, in this example, 5's left child is missing, okay, and it is not the rightmost leaf node, and hence this is not a heap. Okay, let's take another example. Okay, here this third graph satisfies the property of the shape requirement, which means that it is an almost complete binary tree or a essentially complete binary tree. But however, it is still not a heap because the second property, the parental dominance, is not being satisfied. If you look carefully, you will see that there is a parent node having the value 5 which has a child node whose value is 6. So in this case, the parent is not larger than its child, and hence we say that the parental dominance property is violated, because of which even the third graph does not qualify as a heap. So when do we say a graph is a heap? It should satisfy both the properties. First one is it should be an essentially complete binary tree or a almost complete binary tree, and added to that it should also support the concept of parental dominance. Every parent node is larger than its child. Apart from that, let's look at few properties of these heaps. The height of a essentially complete binary tree with n nodes is log n to the base 2. So essentially complete or almost complete binary trees are almost filled in all the levels up to n minus 1 except for the last level. And therefore, in a binary tree with n nodes, the height of such a essentially complete binary tree will be log n to the base 2 rounded down. Okay, it's the floor function that you see around log n. And another property is that the root of a heap always contains its largest element, because we said that heap should satisfy parental dominance. The root node should always contain the largest element. Okay, then if you consider a subgraph, let's say you take an arbitrary node from a heap and consider all its descendants. Okay, then this subgraph that has been formed will also be a heap. Okay, so this should be true for any node in the heap. Suppose if you have a heap data structure, you randomly pick up on a particular node and then select the subgraph such that the selected node is the root and you have included all the descendants into the subgraph, then the resulting subgraph will also be a heap. What do we mean by this? If you look at this example, first graph is the example of a heap. Now let's say that I have picked a node at random, let's say 5. So with 5 as the root, we have to construct a tree such that it includes all the descendants. So which are the descendants of 5? 5 has the descendants 4 and 2. Now when we combine them, 5, 4, 2, if you look there also the parental dominance property is satisfied, as well as the essentially completeness is also satisfied. Okay, so this way, if you choose any arbitrary node and the heap formed by the selected node as the root along with its descendants should always form a heap. Array representation. Okay, so far whenever we represented trees, okay, we made use of the linked list representation. Okay, even in the case of AVL trees, we had such a kind of a representation. However, a heap can be implemented as an array. Okay, rather than implementing it as a linked list, you can implement it as an array, and there is a particular procedure in which you can store the elements of a heap into an array. So how you have to record the elements is that you have to start from top and move downwards, and similarly you have to start from left and move rightwards in each level. So consider a heap has n elements. Let's say there are n elements, then out of these n elements, the first n by 2 positions, okay, you have to observe there around n by 2 we have the floor function. So the first n by 2 positions of the array will be parent nodes, while the leaf nodes will occupy the remaining n by 2 positions, but here n by 2 rounded up, okay, it is the ceil function. if the node has totally, if the heap has totally n elements, then if we add the number of parent nodes and the child nodes, they should turn out to be n. Therefore, the total count of parental nodes is n by 2 rounded down, and total count of the child nodes is n by 2 rounded up. Then, how do we represent this? What we could do is, we could take the root and store it at the index 1, okay, not 0. You could just simply ignore the 0 position just for the sake of convenience. We store the first element at position 1, second at position 2, third at position 3, and so on till we have reached the last nth element, which will be stored in the nth location. So this is the array representation. We will give an example of it. Consider this graph 10, 6, 9, 2, 5, 7, 8. So verify whether this is a heap. Yes, all the nodes are almost filled. Okay, and you should understand a complete binary tree is also an essentially complete binary tree. And also the parental dominance is verified for all possible pairs of parent and child. So what we do is we start inserting from top to bottom and then left to right fashion. So we insert 10, you can see the array representation shown below the diagram. So 10 is stored at the index 1, then we have 6 and 9. We have to move to the next level and move in the left to right manner. So 6 is stored next, 9, 2, 5, 7, 8. If I want to add one more element, let's say 1, then you have to insert it at the next possible position, which is 1. Anyway, we'll look later as to how to create heaps, okay, by performing successful insertions. So what you have to understand is, out of these n keys, if you look here, the value of n is 7. So if you divide 7 by 2 and round it down, 7 by 2 gives you 3.5, and 3.5 rounded down gives you 3. Then if n is 7, you will have n by 2 rounded down parents. Okay, in our case also it is true. We have 3 parents, 10, 6, 9. 7 by 2 is 3.5, 3.5 rounded down is 3. And do we have such 3 nodes which are parent nodes? Yes, the answer is yes. And then the rest of the elements are the child nodes or the leaf nodes, 2, 5, 7, 8. So now you can understand that half of the keys are parents and half of them are roughly another remaining half is the leaf nodes. The children of a key in the array's parental position I will be in positions 2i and 2i plus 1. So this is another property. Given a node at position I, and if this node is considered as a parent, then its children will be stored in the locations 2i and 2i plus 1 in the array. Okay, say suppose I value is 3, then its left child will be at position 6 and its right child will be at position 2i plus 1, which is 7. Okay, so let's go to the example. So let's consider I as 3, okay, which is the third element in the array representation. 10, 6, 9. 9 is the third element. By our definition, its left child should be found at 2i. So 3 times 2 is 6. Its right child can be found at 2i plus 1. So 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. This way 8 is the right child of 9, 7 is the left child of 9. Okay. So this is another property. Vice versa, if the parent of a key, say suppose you consider a node at position I such that I is in between 2 and n, then its parent will be at the position I by 2 rounded down, okay, the floor function. So these are two important points that you should remember. Given position as I, then its left child will be at a position 2i and its right child will be at a position 2i plus 1. On the other side, if you have a node at position I and you want to find its parent will be at a position I divided by 2 rounded down. So this way, if we look at the elements in a heap, the highest element will be at the root position. And as we move downwards, the values decrease. So if we consider the ith element, heap of I, the value of the ith element should be larger than its childs. So if the parent is at position I, where will be the position of their childs? It will be 2i and 2i plus 1. Okay, and I have to check whether the current node is greater than both of these nodes. If that is not the case, I have to exchange them with the one that has the highest value. Okay, exchange with the largest child. So this is the array representation. See, purposefully we have left the index 0 empty so that things become simpler. If you are talking about 1 to n notations, you have n nodes and you are talking about 1 to n notations, then this kind of a representation is simple. Okay, the graph given in the diagram can be stored into the array in the form 10, 6, 9, 2, 5, 7, 8. You have to move from top to bottom, and in each line you have to move from left to right. Okay, so this decides the value. Now that we understood the definition of a heap, given a set of elements, how are you going to construct a heap? So for this there are two strategies. One is the bottom up heap construction, another one is the top down heap construction. In the bottom up heap construction, we fill the array with all the n elements and then readjust such that it becomes a heap. Whereas in case of the top down heap construction, we already have a heap, and when we add a new element into the heap, we should see to that after this addition it would still safeguard the heap property. Okay, the properties of heap are, as you learned, it should be almost complete binary tree or essentially complete, and its and the rightmost children in the last level can be missing. Okay.